Hi, team. Welcome to Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we walk through the recent producers live stream. But first, a couple bits of news and a shout out to our guild Alea Iacta Est on Jedi Covenant. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 156, who never picks up the tab at the cantina because he's always a little short. I really need to be careful because it's dad jokes like that that get you a vented lightsaber in the chest eventually. So
That's what does it, huh?
something to keep. It was the dad jokes. I'm telling you. With me as always is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max, I'm doing great. I spent some time this week, like many others, working on my DVL stuff. We also got kind of started to get started on our hard modes, um, which was fun. I went with, well, obviously I went with three people, and it's been a long time since I've been inside any of those flashpoints, I realized. And even though we went to Aethys, and even though I know I've done Aethys in my past many, many times, I could, I would remember things like after we did them. Oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to do such and such. But yeah, but I still need to, so I'm starting on that, even though I still haven't done some of the easy stuff like kill 50 dudes on Oricon, stuff like that, because I figure that's simple. I can just procrastinate that. And besides that, we don't know when the event's going to end, so therefore I have infinite amount of time, right?
Yes, exactly. I haven't done that one either. That kill 50 dudes. I think I've killed 8 somehow. like like we walked through there. But yeah, same thing. Until the hard mode flashpoints are done, none of that stuff matters. If I get down to the last couple hard mode flashpoints, then I'll catch up on the last couple
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I think that's part of it too. Is like the big barrier for me is all those hard mode flashpoints, and if I get those, then I'll get more serious about a number of the little miscellaneous things, I think.
Exactly.
We did kill Titan 6 in our mandatory fun night tonight, so that was fun. Of course, I'd never done that before as a DPS because my DVL character, that's 65, is a Marauder. Um, so that was different.
Yes. And that is, yeah, as you said, is a DVL achievement to kill Titan 6. Part of that Dragon Slayer. It's Dragon Slayer, right? Which is a
Yeah,
clever little name
it's called
for it.
the achievement is called Dark versus Light Dragon Slayer. And among it's like Titan 6, Operator 9, Sparky, Commander Draxus. Uh, there might be a couple others that I've done already. I don't remember, but yeah, those. And so it's like a bosses here and there, so you don't have to do the whole operation. But some of them are pretty far in. Like Operator 9 is, I think, the third boss in Terra from Beyond.
Yeah. And Karaga,
Yeah.
of course, is the last boss.
Is Karaga on that list?
Mm-hmm. Karaga is the
Then I
only
must have
last
gotten
boss.
it already because
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my tracker and yeah, so I got Karaga already. Cool.
So there's 5 on
So
that
yeah.
list, and Titan 6 was the last one for me on that list. So I'm done with all the operations
Oh,
ones.
sweet.
We'll still continue to do them on our mandatory fun nights, but
Yeah.
we'll get those done. I did a hard mode earlier in the week. We had a couple hard mode groups running as part of mandatory fun night tonight, but I instead, because we had those couple groups filled, I went and did a GSF. Now I only need one more of those to complete that part, and I did one more chapter in Knights of the Fallen Empire because I'm going to take this. I haven't done chapter 16 yet out of the list. No, I guess I haven't done 14 through 16, so I have to check those off too. But the hard mode flashpoints, that's really the big list.
Yep.
I this week also did a little bit of No Man's Sky. So that is
Oh yeah.
all the new hotness that has released in the past week, both on PlayStation and on PC. I'm playing it on PC. I don't know how much I'll do at this point. It's sort of sandboxy. It was very interesting to me from a development perspective because they do procedural generation of the thousands of planets that they have in their galaxy, which means they didn't like design each planet. They have the planets sort of create themselves. They have an engine which creates the planets. And then there's little bits of destructible environment. There's random creatures that get created, random locations where you're interacting with aliens just a little bit. It's it's a good start to a game, I would say. It's supposed to be a multiplayer universe, but so far people really have not ever seen any other players. It's,
Well, but I thought that was kind of the point because I saw an interview about that game probably a year ago now, and he said, yes, there are other players, but you may never run into one.
yes, that is true. You may not run into one. Um, uh, okay, hold just one sec. I'm in the middle of the podcast. Do you want to just text me? We're live on the air. Thank you. All right, back. And we will edit that
Oh,
out.
that pesky real life.
Um,
Wait, not that podcast is not real life. This is real.
right. So yeah, they did say that. They said a few other things as well, but it's still presented as sort of everyone's playing in the same universe, which if no one ever sees each other, it
Yeah,
really still feels very single player-ish, which
right.
doesn't excite me as much as being able to at least meet up with other players and show off my fancy ship that I found crashed on some planet and
I
fixed up.
mean, there's not even really an economy, right? Like, which
No,
is another way that you interact with people, even if you don't see them.
right, exactly. So that's the places where it's a good start and a good concept, and I think has the opportunity in future versions or iterations to be really interesting. But that's enough No Man's Sky news. Why don't we talk about Star Wars news?
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
A couple things did pop up this week. We did see a note from Ben Irving in the dev tracker. He replied to a few things. So there was a couple nice threads which said, "Hey guys, thanks for all the chapters. It was a good story," and prompted him to chime in there. Eric sort of forwarded those along to the rest of the team. One of the things he did certainly chime in on, though, as well, while he was in there, was to confirm that there will be subscriber rewards leading up to Knights of the Eternal Throne. So they're still saying fall for that, but because there's this time gap between the end of the bonus chapter, which is coming in a few weeks, and the startup of Knights of the Eternal Empire, which probably is not going to come till sometime I would say towards the mid to end of October at the soonest, but they're still saying fall, so hopefully it's not going to be past December. Because there's going to be a gap, they'll have subscriber rewards of some kind like they did leading up to Knights of the Eternal Throne. No, Knights of the Fallen Empire. I'm getting them mixed up. Now they should have changed the first part of that name too.
No, because they have a pattern now, because it was Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights, true. And maybe this story will come in 3 parts, as Star Wars stories are wont to do. So we'll have
Yeah,
Knights of the
that's
Fallen
true.
Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne, and then Knights of the
Infinite uh, eh, world. I don't
Knights
know.
Knights of
Galaxy.
the Days of of our lives. These are the days of our lives. So that's that.
Oh, so also today we got patch 4.7a, not to be confused with 4.71, which is coming soon. But in this patch today, let's see, a few things were fixed. Players who completed their Flashpoint Master Achievement prior to game update 4.7 but didn't get achievement completion for it should now have it. So we should have seen the first, rash of people getting their legend status in Dark Light today.
Right.
They also corrected an issue that was preventing players from earning their class Act 3 completion achievement. It also addresses players who have completed all 8 class stories but were missing their legendary status. So if that was you, it should be fixed today. And they made progress towards, they said that progress towards the commander achievement has been granted for players who completed chapters 10 through 15 prior to game update 4.7. So some players didn't get credit if they completed it before 4.7. Now they should have credit.
Right.
Also, they've been having problems with the depths of Manan Flashpoint, not giving, the Flashpoint expert achievement or not properly tracking for that achievement, and that should be fixed also.
So a bunch of fixes there for this pre this interim patch that should have gotten a bunch of people to legendary. Is there a title that you get with legendary of Dark v Light? Because I want to keep an eye out for it then. Because I know we had at least one person in the guild that hit it already, and so should have gotten it today. And you do need to log out and log in all of your DVL characters to make sure all of the right things trigger. But I want to look around on the fleet and see if we have more people around on the server that are sporting that legendary achievement in some way or a title. I don't know what you get if you. I'm sure you get some sort of title for it in addition to everything else. So good thing to keep
I'm
an eye
sure
out
you
for.
do, yeah.
The legendary victor is what the chat room is saying. So I hope someone has the character name Victor. Victor, the legendary Victor, would be a good character name. Also this week, we heard news that there's a strange bug popping up on Yavin. Apparently the Ancient Threat, which is a special world
World boss, yeah.
is hanging out and just lounging around, and he's not supposed to be. The Ancient Threat is supposed to spawn after you solve a series of prerequisites, and then the group is able to make the Ancient Threat show up, and then you can fight him. The Ancient Threat's very difficult to defeat and has its own set of rewards associated with it. Apparently, it is just hanging out, which on one hand doesn't seem all that terrible, except if you're trying to create or finish the Alliance alert for Talos. And in order to do
Right.
that, you need to go and talk to Talos, who happens to be in the same area that Ancient Threat sometimes shows up. So now you're basically not able to complete that. You're not able to recruit Talos into your alliance because the Ancient Threat kills you when you try to do it.
I wonder how many people are affected by that, because Talos is one of the companions that people, when you ask which companion would you like to kill, he's on the list for many people.
Right. It is. But I don't know why. He's just a little.
I don't either. He's just a little geek.
Yeah, he's just a little geeky. Oh, we survived? Amazing. I think that's the especially egregious character voiceover quote that I think people get frustrated with. That he's always surprised that you were able to defeat your enemies. But otherwise, he's pretty innocuous. I don't mind him at all. There are other ones that people would certainly want to kill much more. I think he's at least a few notches down on the kill on the kill list.
And I mean, and by saying what I said, that, I wonder how many, it doesn't mean that I think it shouldn't be fixed, because it's the kind of thing where if you did care about it, you would really care about it.
Right.
So it would be gratifying to get it fixed.
Yes. Also in DVL news, we've got a couple more achievements we can finish up next week, right, Seema?
Yes, that sounds right. Oh yeah, because the Gree are coming back. I was running around the fleet and I tabbed away from my
Looking for
notes. But yeah,
victors?
so yeah, I was looking for victors. Yeah, so for the DVL achievement that's tied to the Gree, which I think is to kill 50 Gree droids. Is it 50? But yes.
Yep.
If the Gree come back next week, and we think they are, you can do that.
Yes. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh.
There's those various event-tied achievements that you do want to make sure you check in on if you're going for DVL. Gree being one of them, bounty contracts being one. You said you still have a bounty contract to finish up, Seema?
I do, and yeah, this week is a bounty contract week. So if you also have bounty contracts you need to do for DVL, it's this week. Go for it.
Got it. So there's that, and then the Gree, which is the other event.
That one those two I'm a little bit more nervous about procrastinating, because yeah.
Right. I got them done as soon as I could the first time the Gree came around. I had pushed through. It was it was within that first week. The Gree were there the first week that DVL went live, and I pushed through and got my character to a high enough level that I could complete that, just so I wouldn't have
Yeah,
to worry about it.
that was smart.
In
Yes.
guild,
I'm writing that down.
yes, making a note. Making a note here. Huge success. In guild and community news, AIE now has a Discord server all set up. We've been waiting. In fact, one of the other officers, who's our game director for Final Fantasy, and I had a conversation way back in the beginning when Discord was sort of first launched. We had a conversation with the developers who were looking for large guilds to come in and adopt Discord, so they could learn and we could learn and we could see if it's going to work out, and we could stress their systems. We didn't hop on it as a guild at the time. Being a very large guild, one of the things that we like to keep controls on is who's in our servers and just making sure that we don't get a bunch of random people in there, because we do try to be really family friendly. We've got kids that are in the chat channels, so we don't keep it open and public, because if there is any problem, it's harder to control. And we certainly did not want to do personalized invites when we've got hundreds and hundreds of players. Trying to manage that would have been problematic too. We are to a point now where Discord will support integration with our identity system that we use, backed by our guild application tools. Basically, LDAP integration, I think, is part of that key. So we've got a Discord server all set up. And so this is mostly going out to all of you AIE Guild members. Go check it out. We've got a note in the SWTOR forums that talks about how you can get into the Discord server. We've got text chat channels for all of the major games and general channels that are cross-game. Allow people to see more of what's going on in all the other games where people are busy. We've got a No Man's Sky channel out there. We've got channels for WoW and Final Fantasy, and I think we still have one for Guild Wars, and although not a lot of people are playing that, Lord of the Rings. We've got ones for Overwatch and Hearthstone. People are playing a bunch of that lately as well. But people can sort of trade off, and it also gives us exposure to a lot of people that are playing WoW, coming over and checking out what's going on in the Star Wars chat channel. That's been fun too. And then in addition to just the text channels that you can look at on any device, even when you're out of the game, we have voice channels set up for all of the major games. So that's going to replace what we have in Mumble right now for our general voice channel for Star Wars in particular, and a bunch of the other major games. We're going to use Discord for sort of that general Star Wars cantina room where we're going to hang out on a regular basis and chat. Individual groups will still be able to use Mumble if you need a private room for your group run, Flashpoint, operation. A lot of the operations and raid teams across our different games are just spawning an extra Discord server just for their team, which makes sense if you need a private room as well. So I'm looking forward to being able to use Discord in this way, see more of what's going on across all the games. I already saw earlier today we had 112 people on at one time already. And this is sort of like the second day that we've had Discord notes going out to everybody in all the various guilds telling them to get on. So I think it's only going to grow from there, but that's pretty exciting. I know you've been in Discord. What do you think so far, Seema?
I fear change. So, yeah, but this seems like a good one. It's been kind of fun to be, just that much closer to, people that I wouldn't normally chat with, because in Mumble, even though you can move from channel to channel, it feels more like you're dropping in on someone and interrupting in a conversation than it does if you just drop into a text channel, which is a weird thing. So that is one thing.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of channels at once to manage, so I kind of have to get it organized so that I see the ones that are important to me.
Right.
And when I figure out all the little notifications, so I know when someone's trying to get a hold of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally, because they need something. But I think it's a good I think it's a good change for us. It'll be interesting to see that, to see how if it is able to handle the volume.
Yes, they claim that they can handle 1,000 concurrent voice streams on a server, which, I don't know. For us, some of our big guild events, challenge accepted. We will, we'll
And I just
stress
like
you.
it
We'll
too
stress it.
because, it's Discord is like the modern thing and it's good to be up to date.
Yeah, it's the new hotness. It's very, it's a nice client. It's a very nice mobile client. It's a very good web client, and it's a very good desktop client. It's nice to have
I
the nicest
I
of
mean, I
clients
really
and
had no
components.
trouble setting it up. I mean, I haven't gone yet to the extent of like downloading. There's apps available that you can run to be your front end. I just use the web client, and so far it's done everything that I wanted it to do. So I didn't have to install anything. I just clicked the link and went there, and it was working.
Exactly.
If you're looking for the information on how to do it, and you want to do what I did, which is just click on a link, just go to Umami, which if you don't know what Umami is, that means you haven't got an application in. So go to the AIE main website and click on join. And first off, get your app in. That way we can change your rank in game so that you have access to the guild bank and stuff like that. But that'll also give you credentials to sign into Discord. And fun fact, Umami, oh, actually, what does Umami mean? I'm going to tell you right now. Universal Multi-Game AIE Membership Interface. That's what Umami stands for. So yes, that's our single sign-on.
Yes, and our application tool. So yeah, check it out. Get in there. Get on. I'll keep an eye on it, and come say hi. And if somebody does need to get into Umami because they want to join the guild, what's the whole deal as far as that goes, Seema?
So if you're not already in AIE and you would like to join, the easiest way to get this app process taken care of that we were talking about is you just go to the website, which is aie-guild.org. There is a button called Join. You just follow that. That'll take you to Umami. You pick the game that you want to join, which in our case would be Star Wars: The Old Republic. And when you click on that, you'll have an opportunity to put in an application, or you can click on a tab, or it might be the first tab you get to, or you can click on a tab called Information, and that's where you'll find information about the guild, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, who the officers are, but that's the main place where you put your application in. You can also poke around on that site, aie-guild.org, to find out what AIE is about. If you want to join the guild in-game, just log in your character to Jedi Covenant, because that's where we are, either on the pub side or the imp side. Join a channel that we've set up called AIE LFO, and that would be /cjoin AIE LFO. Say hi, and if an officer's around, they will toss you an invite. If you don't see an officer around, it's worth trying on the other side. Like if you're on the pub side, it's worth trying on the imp side. But we're there in the evenings usually, especially since we have pretty much ops teams going every night. So there's usually somebody around that can do an invite in the evenings.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Come join. And I also want to give a shout out to our chat room. They've already been quite helpful tonight, as they are every podcast night. That's really fun for us, having you guys hanging out in there. So thank you guys. Finally did get DP Roberts his cartel pack, which I had hanging out for a couple weeks. I think I still owe one. I'm looking at my queue here. I owe one to Evil Dark Archon, who I need to check if he PM'd me a character and where I can pass that off to him, but I will get that taken care of too, and I will catch up with all of you guys after the show. But for now, let us talk a little bit about some information that we got this week.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Was that a little quiet? Let me make it a little louder.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
So many
We're hoping
Bothans.
that only a few.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're hoping only a few Bothans died.
Yeah. So we got some information. We didn't get all the information. So I don't know how much of a value in trade for our dead Bothans that we got this time around. But, guys, if we need to kill more Bothans so you can tell us more about Knights of the Eternal Throne, I'm happy to start killing. Just let me know. Just give me a number. How many dead Bothans is it going to take? We did get a bunch of information. A good amount of information out of this stream. It was one of our usual producer streams. We got Charles and Ben and Eric all look at their name tag on the screen. They're called Charles, Ben, and Musco. So I guess he doesn't get to be called Eric. That's even what they put on the little nameplate underneath them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Charles, Ben,
I
and
hadn't
Musco.
noticed that.
It's not Boyd, Irving, and Musco. So Charles, Ben, and Musco did their usual producer stream and answered a bunch of questions, talked about the current state of the galaxy, talked a little bit about, and they stayed well away from spoilers, talked about the fact that Chapter 16 is here. Then they got into, and we'll go through a little bit of what they talked about in terms of PvP rank 7, Season 7, ranked PvP Season 7. A little bit on events that are coming up, which are going to be important for a number of reasons, real life events, the next canteen in particular. A little bit of the featured community contributors, a little bit on some of the promotional stuff that's coming out, including the bonus chapter for HK, and a little bit of a sum up of where they're at with the DVL event. So it was still a information-packed stream. It was not all of the information that we were certainly hoping for. We wanted to hear all the things about what's going on in Knights of the Eternal Throne. But they were pretty clear that they'll tell us about it when they can, and they're certainly looking to create a big splash in the beginning of October, October 5th and 6th, where they're having a cantina at the New York Comic-Con. That's the real place that we're going to need to wait for the biggest, most impactful announcements about Knights of the Eternal Throne in the next expansion. They continued to reiterate throughout this cast that it is a fall release. So that gives them technically until the 20th of December.
Right.
by Earth standards for what constitutes fall.
Right. By Earth standards, yes.
Is that
Yeah.
how you humans measure your seasons? But yeah, so that exists still with them having, I've seen people speculate if they're not even announcing the details until the beginning of October, then we're not going to get it till November or December at the earliest. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. They could, because they're waiting so long to do the announcement, they could release it sooner. They could release it a couple weeks after, or they could release it on the 8th of October. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that's too optimistic in the other direction. But we'll see when it is actually going to come out. So let's see. Let's go through it. They did talk about their State of the Galaxy, and the State of the Galaxy is the stuff we've been talking about the past couple weeks, which is continuing to push through Dark v Light, and with the release of Chapter 16, ensuring that we're going to see people that are legendary. Riding around here on the fleet, did you find anybody with the Victor title?
No, I didn't.
I have not seen
Did
it
you?
pop up either, but they would have had to turn it on as well. I would have probably turned it on if I had done it.
If I were to get that far, I would most definitely turn it on.
But I know for sure that people have gotten it, so I do not. Oh, the Heroic Victor. Is that it? Is it the Heroic Victor?
I don't know.
Sabster the Heroic Victor. I think that might be it. So maybe I found one. Regardless, that's the DVL event. You are able to hit Legendary now because, in particular, Chapter 16 was released, and they fixed a couple bugs that were preventing people from pushing through. They did talk about a little bit of the snafus, which caused them to need to push Chapter 16 out early. They mostly blamed it on them needing that they were in the middle of moving offices and they wanted to get it done the night before. The They also talked about the pack opening experience. They realized that there was some mixed reactions as far as that goes, that it feels slower opening the packs. Now you can space bar through some of those animations to get it done quicker, but they talked about them potentially making some changes there. So have you done much with opening packs, Seema? Did you get
No,
a sense of how
no.
you feel like it's going? I still haven't even opened my DVL packs. I should totally do it now. In fact, I was waiting for that to come out and this fix to go in. I should go. Oh, heroic victor is the first tier. Legendary victor. What is the last tier then called? Smoke.
Yeah, it'd be legendary Victor. Yeah, I was just looking at that too.
Okay. So close. Wait, what is it? No. Thought I saw another one. So I was looking for I with seeing the feedback for what people were talking about in terms of the pack opening experience. If they tune it up, that's probably a good thing. There seemed like a little bit of a valid criticisms of the experience, the whole experience feature. I didn't think it was anything that, deal breaking as far as it went. And the value you get out of the stash in particular was pretty much universally liked. So if they can tune it up a little bit, then great. What else did they talk about, Seema, just in their sort of State of the Galaxy overview?
Well, it's sort of what they didn't talk about. Like they said they could confirm that they're working on group content, which is what they have said before.
Yes. And they're certainly being very cagey about it, and we talked about this a bunch last week, so we won't go too much more in detail on it.
Yeah.
But the type of
I
go ahead.
I feel like I just want to say that this State of the Galaxy part of the live stream is probably the least valuable.
It's too much of what everything. It's too much about what we already know. I guess it's potentially valuable for people that are catching up and haven't been paying attention.
I guess I guess that would be true if it wasn't it I feel like it's their opportunity to pump themselves up or something. And I wish that they would downplay that and go, or maybe if they would move it to the end, like a summary. So here's what we've been talking about or something. But yeah, it kind of serves as a nice table of contents.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
yeah.
They also talked about PvP Ranked 7. So in PvP Ranked 7, that's going to continue on through the end of this current period in between expansions, and will end with the launch of Knights of the Eternal Throne, which is coming in fall. So until we know when the Knights of the Eternal Throne actually launches, we won't know for sure when the PvP Ranked 7 finishes up. What they did also, though, talk about is they named the rewards that are coming as part of what you're going to get for PvP Ranked 7. And people are a little underwhelmed by what they've talked about so far. It doesn't seem as cool as the weapons that are on fire that they had in, was that season 2
That's
or
true. I mean,
season 3?
yeah, weapon tuning I think would be nice
Right.
as opposed to a unique color crystal, for instance.
Yes.
But or maybe both, right? Because a weapon tuning, I mean, a color crystal doesn't matter so much to, if you're a
non-glow
trooper
stick
or
user.
yeah, right, a gun-toting person. Yes.
I agree. I think a weapon tuning. I think you're right. Would be a great idea. And
A unique creature mount, that might be nice.
depends on what it is. I think
Yep.
that's probably hit or miss, because they'll probably no matter what it is, there'll be people that like it and people that don't. Those tend to be pretty good though when they do those. I remember a few of the creature mounts that they've given out so far for PvP rewards have been pretty cool, and anytime I see them on the fleet, I do think, wow, I sort of wish I had that, but I didn't rank PvP during that time. So the one Rancor with the glowy armor on it in particular is one of my favorite. So there's that.
Yeah.
We're hearing they're going to talk more about what those reward breakdowns are in September, and get a view of what they're going to be. One thing they always do in all of these streams is they talk a little bit about the cartel pack. They do their little, sort of vote for what each of their favorite things is. I didn't realize that this Isotope 5 droid is a companion. So out of this set,
Yeah.
then I sort of like that. I'm really liking those droid companions.
It's the first time they didn't each vote for a different thing.
Right,
So
they
they,
usually sort of tie their horse to one in particular, each of them,
yeah,
and then have the
yeah.
chat room vote, and then two of them lose. So,
Which I like that because it came across as more, I don't know, more genuine to me. I never believed it before. I just thought in the beforehand they would say, okay, you take the armor, you take the speeder, and you take the weapon,
yeah,
or whatever it was.
yeah. So that's pretty cool. But again, limited value as far as that goes. I do like. What did I see in one of the cartel packs recently, though? Oh, there's a gray-white crystal that looks pretty cool to me for some reason. I think I'm gonna have to look at that. And then there was something else. Although I don't mind this Macron mount either. But anyway, cartel pack news isn't all that exciting for anybody, I don't think.
They did talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to talk about the community contributors.
Yes.
They have this thing where they're trying to touch on that every time now, and they did mention SWTORista's Star Wars Academy, which is a great series of YouTube videos that you should check out. She recently hit a subscriber milestone of 2,000 subscribers, so congratulations to her. They also mentioned SWTOR Central's Review My Stronghold and Bad Feeling Podcast because there was the Ben Irving interview on there. So
Yeah.
all valuable things to check out.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate that they're doing this community contributors segment and giving a shout out to more of the people that are making contributions and are building up the community and really doing a lot for the community overall. So great job there, and I appreciate that they're doing that. These are all great people. Bad Feeling Podcast with Chuck and Brian is excellent, and the SWTORista does a great job. It's really fun to hear them getting a little credit for the stuff that they're doing. Let's see. They also so they showed off some pictures of Star Wars Celebration. There was there was an HK cosplayer.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. There's Charles
They
Boyd.
said that
in
was
his
their
armor.
largest cantina in history, which I'm not surprised because Star Wars Celebration in London,
Yeah,
that sounds like an awesome thing to do
right.
if you can.
The voice actress for Valen was there taking pictures with people, so that was fun.
I thought it was really interesting that they said that, she was just a normal person, but that it could be very disturbing if she would, drop into character for a second and say like one of Valen's lines.
I think I'll take her fingers first, then her hands.
Here, you can have the drink.
All right, sorry.
Here, take mine.
Yeah, I that really would have been fun to be out there for that. They didn't talk about
Knights of the Eternal Throne.
coming in fall.
Except to say that they're very excited. It's huge. La 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 la.
Exactly. So, and coming in fall.
Yeah. And they did mention that they not only cannot talk about it, they cannot talk about the artwork, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I think because they're trying to not give out any spoilers. Is that what they meant by I heard them say that too. So they couldn't talk about the art, what you're seeing in the artwork. Like, is that actually Senya?
They did a little
Is it
teaser thing
Valen?
where they asked the chat room, who do you think, that picture that has the two women in it,
Yeah.
one with her back to the, yeah. They asked the chat room who they thought it was, and then they said, and then they didn't say who it
They
was.
wink,
They
wink,
just,
nudge, nudge. I sort of skipped around a bit, so I
yeah.
didn't watch their facial expressions for their tells enough. So unless they tell me something, the wink, wink,
I
nudge,
don't want to
nudge
read
only gets
between
you
the
so
lines. I
far.
just want to read the lines.
Yes. So we're gonna have to wait. I think that's the key. And Seema and I have talked about this. I think we just need to resolve ourselves, and maybe the community in general will have a little bit more fun time in general if we just resolve ourselves to, hey, we'll hear the news when it comes out. We'll enjoy the things that we have available to us as much as we can or do enjoy them, and that's just the sort of the state of how things are. Spending
Right.
too
Because
much
you
time
can't
pining.
just exist in a state of wanting more all the time.
Right,
So
exactly.
just,
That's rough. So I'm gonna
yeah.
stop pining for the fjords and
Yes. Yes. And if you just live life before you know it'll be October 5th
yes, absolutely. It'll come
and
quick.
you'll be, yeah.
Winter is coming.
And it's August. It's the last 2 weeks of summer before school starts. I mean,
Back to
have
school
summer.
time. Woohoo! They did talk about so in terms of events and promotions, yes, the cantina at the beginning of October, New York Comic Con, that's a big deal because then hopefully we're going to hear more news. They did talk again about the thing that we announced last week or the week before, where they're doing cartel market featured sales to celebrate the 5th year of SWTOR. So it's the week of the 5th for 5 months type of weird thing like that. Well, they're going to have something on sale for 5% off or whatever. They also said make sure you're keeping an eye out for continued promotions that show up in your launcher, and that's each person in particular may have different things showing up in the launcher and different offers that are available. So they have the technology to be personalizing offers for people that are already subscribers, people that aren't subscribers, to get them to subscribe, that kind of thing. So keep an eye out for that. I heard another one came up this week for some people on their launchers for a 500
Oh,
cartel
really?
coin bonus of some kind.
Nice.
And then they talked about this 5-year anniversary collage. I have not submitted my picture yet. Have you submitted your picture, Seema, for the 5-year anniversary
No,
collage? Are you going to do
no,
a headshot? A
no.
no, you're not gonna.
I mean, I used to enter like these screenshot pictures contests in whatever game I was playing in because I mean, I would just take a screenshot that I would think that was so awesome, and it would just be like throwing, a message in the bottle in the ocean that nobody ever found.
Well,
And then I
supposedly.
would see the ones that won, and I would go, "Oh yeah, that's actually an awesome screenshot." Mine was just a regular screenshot.
So they're gonna do something where they're gonna put them all together though too. So I think you have more of a chance of it showing up in sort of like the overall giant collage of people's characters. I don't think it's as
Yeah,
much
maybe.
as they're gonna pick one person as the winner. Although, did you see this one of Manon, this
Yeah, yeah,
Miralian on Manon? I
yeah. I
thought that
saw
was
that
a
one.
really good themed picture. I thought that came out really well.
Yeah, it is a nice picture.
It sort of fit. The armor's themed well and everything. So
And what? And the one that they said looked like Eric Musco. That's how he got chosen.
is
He
that this
swears that's not
one?
how that one got chosen.
That's funny. Probably. Let's see. What else did we get? We got a little bit of discussion of coming with the chapter that we're getting on September 7th, which will be the bonus chapter. We're also getting another Alliance alert. We had a little bit of speculation last week on will this continue? There's no reason they couldn't continue to put out Alliance alerts in the in-between period between end of Eternal Empire and Eternal Throne, Fallen Empire and Eternal Throne. But we are getting one, and it's for Rusk. So we're going to, in theory, recruit Rusk and help him clean up the mean streets of Nar Shaddaa,
Yes.
which is fine. So, I don't know, little bit of extra things like that on the side is not bad. And then they did talk about the HK chapter as part of their wrap up, which then flowed into a discussion of that chapter, and they even did a little bit of a preview. Did you hear anything you liked and got you excited about the HK55 bonus chapter, Seema?
Well, I mean, just
Like the
the idea
shroud?
that it's comical and funny. Oh, well, yes, the Shroud, right. It's the return of the Shroud, which I think the Shroud should have returned a long time ago. I think he's a great character.
Absolutely. And I liked so just the key idea of the theme of the chapter, which they described as play as HK55 in a daring escape from the Shroud's secret fortress. So that in particular excites me. If you remember any of it was a macro binocular. It was all the macro binocular quest lines associated with the Makeb Rise of the Hut Cartel
Right.
expansion. They had a lot of puzzles associated with them, and you take the macro binoculars and you look around the room to try to find the different sensors or lasers, the tripwires, and you had to solve the puzzle and not get killed along the way. I really liked that. I thought that was some of the more
Yeah.
clever missions that showed up in the game, and that was a little something different than kill 10 sky troopers. And
And I think, yes, with the direction the game has gone, with the chapters and everything, that just increases their opportunity to do more stuff like that because they don't have to design it for multiple people or anything like that, so they can do more puzzles. And they have been doing puzzles here and there, and I appreciate that.
yes, yep. And so I am looking forward to that. That won't be for everyone, unfortunately. In fact, in some ways, even though I qualify for it, and so it's a special bonus for me and for you too, I know, Seema, I do sort of feel like everybody deserves it and everybody should be able to get it in some way.
I'm not completely sure I qualify for it
Well, you had a glitch, though.
because
So
I had a glitch, yeah.
I think because it was a
So I
glitch, you
don't
could
know.
probably point back. You might not, even if it's a glitch and you don't get it on the first day, you can call up customer service in that
Yeah.
case because you had continuous coverage of your account, even, glitch aside.
Right,
You were
right.
subscribed every month. But then they played the little
That's true.
trailer and they showed off the Z0OM, the Zoom droid companion that's running around. So you're playing as HK, and I think she is your companion in this particular instance.
Is she my love interest?
I don't know because it is female. It's a female voice actress that showed up in the credits for this particular character that I noticed, and I know you noticed it too. Did I spout it off and start talking about it? I watched those credits at the end of Fallen Empire, that big long 5 minute
Yeah,
credit
yeah.
sequence,
Yes.
and I was looking at all of the voice actors in particular because that's they don't get a lot of credit on their own necessarily, and this name came up of the voicing this character, and I had no idea what
Yeah.
the Zoom droid was, so now we know.
Anyway, I am looking forward to that.
Yes, so I'm looking forward to that.
Right now, I'm playing through the Zyos chapters, or they're not really chapters. That was kind of between chapters, and it's so bleak. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to something comical, fun, and entertaining, as they say.
Yes, many Ziostians died to bring us that chapter.
That's right.
So that'll be fun, and that'll be something to look forward to and talk about on September 7th. So you can expect that we'll have a podcast episode about that.
Yes.
And finally, they did wrap up with saying the Dark V Light event will be going through up until the next expansion. So it's going to go up until they release Knights of the Eternal Throne. It'll probably end a couple weeks before Knights of the Eternal Throne drops. So that if we don't know exactly a date at that point, then that could be a marker for us knowing it's about 2 weeks out.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. So I guess they need a couple weeks to sort of, I don't know, sort it out and clean it up and finish it. I wish it would. I mean, if we have to wait until the beginning of, if Knights of the Eternal Throne is way out, like we've been sort of speculating December 20th or whatever, I would prefer that the DVL just went up to December 20th also, but I guess that's not possible.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to want to do. They may have a single patch to clean up some of the extra stuff associated with it that they're not going to want to do multiple patches around that time and complicate things. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
it's
that.
okay.
Speaking of dark versus light, looking at the page, it's 52.01% light and 47.99% dark.
And I think that's what we mentioned last week still, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. I think
Yeah,
it hasn't
so I
changed
don't know
since
the
last week.
schedule at which they change it, but it's still stuck there for this week so far. It seemed like they were updating it later in the week too. So keep an eye on it Wednesday or Thursday. 52.01% light side. So go light, go Chis,
Go light.
go Chis Jedi.
Yes, go just Jedi.
All right. And I think that's about it. So that's a producer stream. Again, we're going to keep an eye out most of all in October, but have fun stuff to play in September with the HK chapter. So we'll be looking forward to that. And with
I would say if you're working on DVL, my advice, which may be completely wrong, is to take your time and enjoy it because it's going to be around for. It is what that is what we have to do right now. So
yes, and that's
if you haven't already achieved the finished thing, which I understand that too, trying to be in the first wave, I totally understand that. But if you weren't in that wave and you're still working on DVL, I would just say stop and smell the Star Wars roses.
stop and smell the blue milk or whatever.
Yes, right. Exactly. The Rhodian mayo.
All right. With that, EPC 156 is ready to head out. Thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, on iTunes, YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next week, potentially Monday night instead of Tuesday night, because we've got a few things going on next week, on twitch.tv/newoverlords when we do stream around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA, and find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.